Behind the guarded gates of a quiet Kingston neighborhood, a different chapter of leadership unfolds. Inside Portia Simpson-Miller's Kingston mansion, life moves at a slower, warmer rhythm. No campaign rallies, no podium speeches, just family laughter, morning sunlight over the garden, and the steady presence of a woman who once led a nation. Today, the former Prime Minister lives surrounded by memories, legacy, and loved ones. But before the gates of her Kingston mansion, there was a little girl growing up in rural St. Catherine with big dreams and very limited resources. Portia Simpson-Miller was born on December 12, 1945, in Wood Hall, a quiet farming community where life was simple and opportunities were not handed out easily. She often spoke about those early years with pride, not embarrassment. Poverty did not define her. It sharpened her. In the early 1950s, she attended Marley Hill Elementary School, a school that was literally uprooted by Hurricane Charlie in 1951. That moment alone tells you something about the environment she grew up in: instability, rebuilding, resilience. Later, after her family moved, she continued at St. Catherine High School and then St. Martin High School in Kingston. The shift from rural life to the capital city exposed her to a broader world, but she never lost her grounding. Instead of choosing a quiet path, she stepped into service. After studying at the Jamaican Institute of Commerce, she worked as a secretary and in social services. Those early jobs mattered. They placed her face to face with working-class Jamaicans, mothers struggling to feed families, young people fighting for education, communities overlooked by policy. Politics did not begin as ambition for her. It began as proximity to need. And then came 1974. She entered representative politics, winning a seat on the Kingston and St. Andrew City Councils, representing Trenchtown, a community known for hardship but also cultural pride. 2 years later, in 1976, she was elected to the Jamaican House of Representatives for St. Andrew Southwestern. That victory was not symbolic, it was earned. Under Prime Minister Michael Manley, she served as parliamentary secretary in key departments, learning the machinery of government from the inside. The 1980s tested her resolve. She was re-elected in 1980, stepped aside during the 1983 boycott, but never stepped away from the movement. For more than 2 decades, she led the PNP women's movement, building grassroots power long before the word empowerment became fashionable. By the late 1980s and 1990s, she was back in Parliament and rising steadily through cabinet portfolios: labor, welfare, social security, sport, tourism, local government. These weren't decorative titles. She pushed reforms in overseas agricultural labor programs and established the Sport Development Fund in 1995, investing in Jamaican talent at home. By February 2006, she had reached a defining moment, elected leader of the People's National Party with the unforgettable campaign message, "Come to Mother." A month later, on March 30th, 2006, she made history as Jamaica's first female prime minister. It wasn't just a personal milestone, it was a national shift. Her first term focused on removing healthcare fees for children and supporting first-time homebuyers, practical, people-centered policies. After a brief loss in 2007, she returned stronger. On January 5th, 2012, she was sworn in again, becoming only the second Jamaican leader to serve non-consecutive terms. During her second term, she oversaw significant reforms, including the 2015 decriminalization of small amounts of marijuana, a move that blended social change with economic vision. Until 2016, after a narrow electoral defeat, she stepped down. By 2017, she had officially retired from frontline politics. But retirement did not erase influence. In the years that followed, she remained a respected elder stateswoman, celebrated nationally and internationally, especially as Jamaica honored her 80th birthday in 2025 and recognized her legacy at major women's leadership events. And now, after decades in the spotlight, what does life look like inside her Kingston home today? Now step away from Parliament and step through the gates. Mansion in Kingston, Jamaica. At 80, Portia Simpson-Miller remains firmly rooted in Kingston, the city that shaped her political rise. Her residence sits on Tavistock Terrace in Upper St. Andrew, an area known for privacy, elevation, and sweeping views of the capital below. It's not a flashy celebrity compound. The two-story mansion spans roughly 3,485 square feet, and the first impression is balance. A warm entrance hall welcomes you in, not overly dramatic, but polished and inviting. On the main level, the layout flows easily. The living area feels spacious without trying too hard. You can imagine comfortable seating arranged for conversation rather than display. A place where political discussions once happened, and now, perhaps, grandchildren play. The open-plan dining and kitchen area creates that Caribbean indoor-outdoor rhythm. It's practical, but it's also social. One detail that stands out: the balconies extending from the living room. From there, the Kingston breeze moves freely, especially in the late afternoon when the sun softens and the hills glow. There's also a mosquito-screened patio, a very Jamaican solution, allowing evenings outside without interruption. It's thoughtful design, built for real life in the tropics. Upstairs, the master bedroom offers privacy and elevation, both literally and symbolically. After decades in public service, that upper level represents retreat, a quiet place above the noise. 3 bedrooms in total make the home comfortable but not excessive. The wide driveway adds practical space for visitors and security, a subtle reminder that even in retirement, respect follows her. The property feels secure, composed, and steady, much like the woman who lives there. But a life this long and influential also carries financial weight. So how exactly did decades of public service translate into income? Now let's talk numbers, but in a grounded way. Income and net worth. Portia Simpson-Miller's financial standing has been the subject of varying reports, with her estimated net worth ranging between $5 million and nearly $17 million. The wide gap in these figures likely stems from differing evaluation methods and whether certain assets are counted. Throughout her extensive political career, Simpson-Miller held numerous high-ranking roles, including Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, Development, Information, Sports, Labor, Social Security, Tourism, and local government. Additionally, the Prime Minister's salary in Jamaica has historically been set in the millions of Jamaican dollars annually. In recent years, discussions and adjustments have placed the equivalent compensation for the sitting Prime Minister at roughly $200,000 per year or more. That matters because pension calculations are tied directly to that figure. Under Jamaican law, former Prime Ministers are entitled to a pension linked to the current Prime Minister's salary. In the 2025 to 2026 context, reports suggest that eligible former leaders may receive around 28.5 million Jamaican dollars annually, roughly 180,000 to 200,000 US dollars, depending on exchange rates. That creates financial stability long after leaving office. So when you combine decades of ministerial salaries, 2 terms as Prime Minister, accumulated benefits, and a structured pension system, the numbers begin to make sense. This isn't overnight wealth. It's institutional compensation built over time. But money alone never defined her legacy. Because beyond income and pensions, another layer shaped her career: service. And that brings us to something even more meaningful: philanthropy. Throughout her life, Portia Simpson-Miller has consistently directed her energy toward the people who remind her of where she started: the vulnerable, the overlooked, the ambitious young dreamers who simply need a chance. At the center of her giving is the Portia Simpson-Miller Foundation, often referred to as the PSM Foundation. For more than a decade, the foundation has focused heavily on education. Scholarships, grants, and financial aid have been awarded to university students across the island, with millions of Jamaican dollars allocated over the years to help dozens pursue higher education. The foundation has also organized fundraising events, from cocktail receptions to formal galas, bringing together business leaders, community members, and supporters who believe in investing in Jamaica's youth. Beyond scholarships, the support has extended into healthcare and basic social assistance. In 2013, for example, donations were made to institutions such as Bustamante Children's Hospital and the Missionaries of the Poor. Between 2015 and 2019, the primary focus returned to empowering students and uplifting young people. Her philanthropic reach also includes strong ties to the Rue John Foundation, where she has served as a respected patron. The organization, dedicated to improving opportunities for Jamaican youth, has even named scholarships in her honor. That kind of recognition speaks volumes. It reflects trust, partnership, and shared mission. Then, there is the Sport Development Fund, established in 1995 during her time as Minister for Sport. While technically a government-affiliated agency, its impact mirrors her lifelong belief in youth development. The fund supports school programs, community sports facilities, playgrounds, and national athletic growth. In a country where sport is a source of pride and opportunity, that investment matters. Over the years, she has also supported and praised various community organizations, from health initiatives to corporate social responsibility programs, and has been honored by civic groups such as the Rotary Club of Kingston. Not for glamour, for service. So beyond the foundation work and the public honors, what does life look like for her at home, surrounded by family? Personal life. Currently, Portia Simpson-Miller lives a life that feels intentionally private. After decades at the center of national debate, she now chooses stillness. She has been married since 1998 to Errol Miller, a respected Jamaican business executive and former CEO of Cable and Wireless Jamaica. Those who have observed them over the years often describe their partnership as steady and loyal. He was never the spotlight-seeking spouse. Instead, he stood just outside the frame, supportive, protective, present. The couple has no children, and perhaps that has allowed them to keep their home life especially shielded from public intrusion. Friends describe their household as calm, disciplined, and deeply rooted in Jamaican culture and faith. In recent years, her public appearances have become rare. Health concerns have slowed her pace. In April 2023, she was hospitalized in Kingston, though reports indicated her condition stabilized shortly after. Since then, she has appeared occasionally at carefully selected events, often receiving standing ovations that feel less political and more affectionate. In December 2022, her birthday, December 12th, was formally recognized by her party as Portia Simpson-Miller Day, a symbolic gesture honoring her contribution to national life. Of course, no long political career unfolds without turbulence. She led through moments of intense scrutiny. The Trafigura donation controversy in 2006 placed her party under investigation and international attention. The funds were returned, she denied wrongdoing, and no conviction followed. Yet the episode lingered in public debate. Later, policy disputes, economic decisions like the National Housing Trust's Outamani estate purchase, and cultural tensions around LGBT reform kept her government in the headlines. But context matters. She governed in a nation balancing tradition, economic pressure, and global expectations. Critics challenged her leadership style. Supporters praised her connection to ordinary Jamaicans. Media narratives sometimes leaned into gendered criticism, something scholars later pointed out as part of a broader pattern faced by female leaders worldwide. What's striking now is distance. Time has softened the noise. Many Jamaicans today remember her as the little girl from Woodhall who rose to become the country's first female prime minister twice. They remember the policies that reduced healthcare fees for children. They remember her unmistakable voice on the campaign trail. They remember "Come to Mother." Today, she spends her time largely away from microphones. Surrounded by her husband, close friends, and longtime supporters, she lives a chapter defined less by power and more by reflection. And when you look at her life as a whole, from rural beginnings to national leadership, from controversy to commemoration, one thing becomes clear. Her story is not just about politics. It is about resilience. Thank you for spending this time with us and for continuing to support stories that celebrate leadership and legacy. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these powerful stories alive, and we'll see you in the next one.